Hey, welcome to Coffee Break with Sahad. And I'm Sahad. Let's talk about what and why and how we control things. But first, some coffee.
On that coffee break, can't even stay awake. I can listen to Drake, all the head and snakes.
Last Friday, I went home and from work with the determination to work throughout the weekend. I was gonna get all my stuff done, finish the vocals and finalize the song, right? And record 4 podcast episodes, get enough sleep. That was the plan. As is the plan for all my weekends, practically. Saturday comes and I wake up on time. I make some coffee to start the day off. I figure I'll check a video or two on YouTube, Some new laptops came out and I've been interested, so I thought I'd just check them out. Then I get reminded that I've been meaning to watch this movie that came across Prime. Before I know it, it's lunchtime and I figure I'll work right after I eat my lunch. So I eat my lunch while finishing up the movie, right? And then the world's tiredness just hits me like a ton of bricks. I feel exhausted. The whole week I've worked from morning till night. I've gone to the office to work. Then I came home to work on my own stuff that lasted for 5 days straight. I don't know how or why, but I didn't realize how exhausted I was till I had my lunch on that Saturday. The food just triggered what I was really feeling, So I lied down to take a nap afterwards. I woke up eventually with a headache. Perhaps, I slept too much that day. I don't know. All I know is that I was in no shape to work by then. I did practically nothing the rest of the day. Sunday rolled around and it was much of the same for the most part. I lounged around, did some laundry, bought some groceries, cooked some food. When 8 p.m. rolled around, I got into the groove of working, but by then it was, already a bit too late to put in more than a few hours. My mind immediately went towards self-deprecating thoughts, I started being super critical of myself. Why couldn't I just, do what I planned on doing, right? Why am I not efficient enough with my time, right? Why am I not good enough for the things I want to do, right? Now, I'm sure all of us have experience with this. Planning things, then not meeting our expectations on what we set out to do, right? Then falling back and being super self-deprecating towards ourselves, borderline harassing ourselves. If we acted like this towards someone else, it would definitely be classified as harassment. But for some reason, if we do it to ourselves, it feels normal, It just feels like we punish ourselves. We think that we deserve it, right? But we don't, though. We don't deserve all that hatred at all. Going back to my weekend again, when I was hurling insults towards myself, I forgot one crucial thing. I forgot that I worked a lot over that week. I forgot that I had a really productive week where I worked a lot at the office, on my day job. Then I came home and I worked a ton on my own stuff, my passion stuff, my passion projects. I forgot that I was faithful to my paleo diet. I forgot that I slept regularly. I forgot it was an eventful week, Oh, and mainly I forgot that I'm just a mere mortal, I forgot that I need to unwind, I forgot that I'm allowed to be tired and unproductive at times. Keep in mind, though, that over the weekend, I did try to thwart myself back. I tried my best to get myself to sit down at my desk right here to work, but it just didn't happen. It ended up happening late on Sunday night. I worked on a bit of a song and then just fell asleep. It was an uneventful weekend, quite honestly, but looking back at it right now on a Monday evening, I realized how much I needed the downtime, the need to control ourselves into doing what we should be doing. This need has dictated much of my waking life so far, as I'm sure it has with yours. Not just that, our need to control our surroundings, situations, people, it's embedded within us. In an ever-changing, chaotic world, we find some sort of relief in being able to control the immediate bubble around us, don't we? We're always thinking that we should be doing this right now, or we should be doing that. But at the end of the day, I think it truly is detrimental to you and your productivity when you're trying to control yourself. Now, most of my life so far has been me just, setting out these grandiose plans for myself. I was gonna, become this amazing individual, by the time I was 25, impacting millions of people with whatever I choose to do. I wanted for my life to be extraordinary, so to speak. I think in a way I was expecting so much of myself because I was put on a pedestal by the adults around me growing up. I don't blame them for it, but that isn't the best thing to do to a kid. So much of my teens and early 20s were spent on trying to control everything: how much I slept, how much I worked, what I worked on, etc., etc. But the funniest and most ironic thing is that it actually hurt my productivity. I'd put myself on a high pedestal, then I'd struggle to meet the amount of work that it needed to reach that pedestal. When I inevitably wouldn't be able to reach it, I'd be angry at myself and try to control even more of myself. Then I'd get more frustrated. Eventually, I'd get nowhere. Just a sitting duck, a ball of fury, And what's funny? I've noticed this with tons of people around me. The incessant need to control themselves and their immediate surroundings. Why do we want this much control though? Because the world is chaotic, right? The news tells us that things that make us feel like the world is on a roller coaster, a lot more out of reach every single day. So many changing factors around us, the people around us. Everything is changing all the time. Most of the time too rapidly, So it can seem attractive to want to control as many things as we can so that we have familiarity. It's also good to get ourselves to do exactly what we think we should do in order to keep ourselves and our fate in control. But the world and our fate are rarely in our control, isn't it? How can we expect ourselves to be in control of the world around us? And even more so, how can we even expect to control ourselves exactly the way that we want to? We don't even understand ourselves. Since the beginning of our time on this planet, we've been trying to figure ourselves out and how we work and we still don't know. We still know very little, Like we're plagued with depression and anxiety on a mass global scale right now, but people don't even know how to fix this. So we're going deeper into a void as a collective, which is why I started this podcast actually, because I felt that there needed to be, some sort of light above the void, calling people out of the darkness, Even if I help one person feel at least a bit better, I'd have done my part. So it's okay to not control ourselves to the T. We should set ourselves up towards a general trajectory of where we want to be, right? Who we want to be. But it's never a good idea to compulsively control ourselves and our surroundings. It's okay if people don't understand us. It's okay if we're unpredictable, because at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, right? Anyway, you're gonna do it. So might as well not set up roadblocks for yourself along the way. Like we have this inner nature within each of us, and we either end up obeying that nature or we force ourselves away from it. Obeying it usually results in being at peace internally and with our lives. But trying to sway ourselves away from our nature by controlling ourselves usually results in unhappiness. That's been the case for me and people around me from what I've seen. When I strayed away from creating my music, I became extremely unhappy. When I let my inner nature take control again, I have become exponentially more at peace with myself within. And I'm not just saying that, I truly mean it when I say this. This has been my experience in all honesty. How do we become more at peace though with letting go of control? To become more at peace with the ever-changing factors of us, we start with the small things. We like allowing yourself to take more breaks here and there, or like letting things get a bit messy in your room once in a while, because you cannot be on top of everything all at once. So it's best to be comfortable with not being in control of the things that have no adverse effects on ourselves. Another thing you can do is leave a lot of time, a lot of room for unexpected things that you haven't planned for. Like for me, instead of planning every waking hour of every day, I just try to have large chunks of time dedicated to specific things. This is so beneficial for me, especially for creative work, Like I'll set aside 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. on a Saturday for music making. I won't try to plan every single little detail of what I'd work on. I'll just sit down in front of the computer and just let things flow. And before I know it, I have progressed pretty far. Even then though, sometimes there will be several hours where I won't be doing anything, in that block of time. And that's okay too. I'm trying my best not to control that. Except just set aside large chunks of time towards things. It's such a simple concept, but it does wonders for me. It's little hacks like these that make the real difference. I hate the word hack, but you know what I mean, Another thing is managing expectations, like what I said before about expecting too much of myself, just stop doing that. It's not beneficial to anybody. Don't be so hard on yourself with unrealistic expectations. You will fail at sometimes at meeting what you set out to do, and that's okay. Be kind to yourself in those instances and hop back on the horse gently, or else it might inflict unnecessary suffering within that'll eat away at time that you could otherwise be doing something with or just relaxing. Above all, be a shell, let things flow through you, be water, whatever you want to call it. Just flow with things more often. There was this one scene in, I think, Life of Pi where the main character was stranded in the middle of the ocean, and after trying so hard to save himself, he kind of just gave up on trying because nothing was going according to his control, So he looked up at the sky and said, "God, I'm your vessel," or something like that. That was such a powerful scene because things got gradually better for him when he started to let go of his control over his fate and just started to tackle things as they presented themselves in front of him. And there's something to learn from there because we cannot control almost anything that happens, but we can just tackle things as they occur to the best of our abilities. Again, as I said before, we should set up a general trajectory for our lives, but having the need to control ourselves too much is detrimental. It acts against our nature. We're humans, not robots, right? So we need to let ourselves act accordingly, or else our quality of life decreases dramatically. Thank you for listening. I hope you're having a great day, truly. I'll see you in the next one.